Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking a look. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the first part, go ahead and take a look at the first part where we did just some channeled messages, also some energy work. Always remember, whether you're watching me in that kind of format where it's just me on camera and we're doing channeled readings, or if you're watching any one of my card readings or whatnot, please remember that we do have a healing energetic field, so you will feel those energy healings coming through, or you might not, but just know that you're in the field. All right, so that means to make sure that you are hydrating, because you may be coming to listen to messages, God bless you, but we have lovely practitioners here in the non-physical who will be assisting you on energetic levels, of course, by allowance of your higher self. All right, so one thing before we jump into the reading that I forgot to mention. Wow, how surprising of me. If you follow me, you understand I need to step my marketing game up like a lot, and I'm working on it. But I was recently on a lovely podcast, and I forgot to mention that in the video portion, and it's called the Let's Talk Vibes podcast, and it's done by my two beautiful friends, Yiannah and Lauren and Yiannah, and both in their own right are very, very respectable and very, very good soul contract readers. So if you're not aware of what soul contract reading is yet, I don't blame you. It's something that is quite new. I would say it's one of the more newer forms of, I guess, I want to say healing modalities, but I don't know if that's the best way to refer to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over. You can connect to the links that I provide for you on this page, wherever you're watching. I would invite you to head over and check out all of their videos so far. So I was on episode number 5. So they're new. So episode number 5, and I would invite you to watch episodes 1. There are two first ones, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think the first 2 are kind of like an episode kind of broken into 2. So just go ahead and check that out. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, where they talk about what soul contract reading is. And then in the 5th episode, where I just happened to be a guest, and I'm so thankful for that, it was fun, they bring it all together to show you what a soul contract reading is like. And very simply, and I mean simply, because you should not be hearing this from me, you should go to the experts, which are Lauren and Yiannah. But very simply, they look at your name, they look at the phonetics of your name, and I believe it's using the Hebrew alphabet, but you can find out more about that from them. And based on that, they're looking at the energies that you brought in with you onto this planet, including your strengths and your challenges. And it's just so fun. I love it. And it's spot on. If you go and you watch, you'll be like, oh, you'll see me basically nodding my head. But anyway, go ahead and check them out. I'm going to drop their information at the bottom, and forgive me, Lauren and Yiannah, if I butchered that. And for the rest of you, God bless you. All right, so let's jump right in. Again, what energies, yes, stop, see, look at that. What energies do we need for the month of April? And it's funny because I said yes, and I looked at that because right before I started the camera, I just felt in to see what messages were going to be coming out. And one of the messages that they came out was pretty much this. And we talked a little bit about this in the first part of this. Grounding, because what we're doing integration work. I don't know what this card is here, but it's wanting to come out. I'm feeling it. And I'm getting entrepreneurial things coming up for a lot of people. Now, we understand that as we engage in healing, all healing is, and everyone will eventually get to understand this as we evolve and blah, blah, blah. All healing has nothing to do with the body, has nothing to do with anybody outside of you. It is merely changing your perceptions. When you change your perceptions, you order the energy in your field in different ways. And you will clear any blockages that pop up. All blockages are manifestations of what? Your thoughts. All you are is consciousness. So when you have a thought that is out of alignment with source, with the creator, with the benevolence, with all that is, right? When you have a thought that's out of alignment with that, now you have created something in your energetic field. It's a structure, and that's when we go in and we're doing stuff to your energy field. We're just working with these structures, which are the manifestations at different levels of the field of what? Your thoughts. You're either thinking thoughts that are self-accepting, self-loving, in which case that's natural, so there are no structures made. It's just flow. Energy can flow through your field. Or you are thinking thoughts that are out of alignment with that. It's an unnatural state. It's not real. And so you create structures with these false thoughts. And this is why we can say thoughts are things. We say that all the time and people are like, I don't get it. That's because it basically means you're just consciousness. And when you have a thought that is of a low vibration, it's out of alignment, it starts to order the energy to clump up into different forms. And eventually in the physical world, the third dimension, you know what these forms look like. They look like people, places, things, situations, ideas, right? Everything. It's whatever you look around. These are the manifestations of your belief system. That's how they look, your thoughts. That's how they look in the third dimension. But you slip into that fourth dimension, they're not looking the same way. Like they're not looking like this physicality. And in the fifth dimension, your thoughts are looking like something else. The sixth, it's something else, right? It's just your thoughts. So my question to you is how healthy, aka how in alignment with who you really are, which is source, God, you're just a spark of the divine. How in alignment with source are you? With who you are. If you can align with your higher self, which is pure self-acceptance and self-love, then you we good. But that's what we're out here in these different lifetimes trying to kind of, heal. And again, healing is just changing your perceptions so that you are no longer in a state of, wait for it, self-denial. It's about self-acceptance. So when we are in a state of self-acceptance, you can just say, oh, I am. That's it. I am. I am, and that's all there is. I am just as God created me, Source created me, just as I was created, and that's enough. But when you start having desires and wants and all that stuff, which come from belief systems embedded, then you start to make these structures. And so that's when we start to become distorted. So that's why when we talk about soul integration or integration, all we're doing is collecting these different fragmented aspects, aka these different parts of our consciousness that are holding beliefs that are contrary to the love and the self-acceptance that we are. That's all that is. And that's why you feel more strong, you feel more aware, you feel more valid, you feel like you belong, all these beautiful feelings. You feel even happy to express yourself. You feel those ways when what? When, I guess, using this third dimension as an example, when people outside of you validate your existence, right? Now, the thing is that we can't rely on validation from outside of us because the world just doesn't work that way. And so right now we're being called to collect ourselves the organic way, the natural way. And it's just through self-love and acceptance, shadow work, agreeing with yourself to take a look at what it is that is causing you pain, what you're so afraid of having be a horrible thing about you, right? That's why we like to be around people who are comforting, people who help us to feel okay, because that kind of loving energy, it helps us to feel more whole, that we can just, wow, I can unbutton. You mean I can unbutton my first button and just sit here? I don't have to be judged? Yeah, of course you can. What do you want to drink? You want some tea? Then they're not worried about chopping you up into little bits. And really, people will only chop you up into little bits, aka split your consciousness, when you're already doing that for yourself. If you're not invested in the self-criticism, in the harshness, and the low self-worth, and the victim consciousness, and the martyr consciousness, and the poverty consciousness, the hallmarks of socio-cultural conditioning, over timelines, lifetimes. If you're not invested in that, nobody can sell you that idea. Right? So right now, it's kind of a busy time in 2024 when we're looking at the energies for personal transformation. And so that's why the guides are saying, as you integrate understand that you're going to be faced with parts of yourself, either through your own personal experience or seeing it in other people, and it's going to trigger you. Because if you spot it, you got it. If you're triggered about anything you see on the news, you see at the bus stop, you're driving by an empty, road, and you look to the right and you see an abandoned car on bricks, that gets me all the time. That's why that's so super specific. Oh, I hate that. What is that? Why does that trigger you? Now, it's your choice to delve into that or not, but of course you can always come see me and we'll just, pluck it out and let you know, oh, this is because blah, blah, blah. And let's work on that, because it's about looking at what belief you hold that is allowing that separation between yourself and yourself, the conscious mind, and this other aspect of you. What's keeping you separate? There's no separation. Okay? So get grounded as you meet different parts of yourselves, whether it's outside or inside, personal experience. It's time to get grounded and self-accept. And that, my friends, is how you change the vision. You don't, and we don't really talk about this on this channel as much, but I'm going to say it here, and we will talk more about it in the future. You cannot change the world. The world does not change. It is unchangeable. Always remember that. To think that things change is to subscribe to a linear idea of reality, when reality energetically is not linear. Just like movies, a whole movie is not really a block. It's a combination of a whole set of frames that are going like this, right? It's a combination, a collection of that, moving fast, so fast in a projector that it tricks the mind into thinking, oh, boom, here's this movie. It's linear. That's not the case. So I will invite you to think of it this way. The world isn't changing. You are changing. The only thing that you have any control over, and that only you can change by your allowance, whether you want to allow your own ideas to populate it or other people's ideas and their will to populate it, the only thing you can control is your mind. And that means your belief systems. Learn about it. Anytime you change your belief system, it could be to wake up and think something differently or whatever. You are not changing the world. You are phasing out of one timeline where everything is a certain version, the world is a certain version, and you're, boom, just like that, tuning into another timeline, just like that. Now, it's okay if you maybe like, I don't get it, or I'm sure a lot of you get it already, because some of you are my clients, and I know that you already get this, but it's okay if you don't, and because just know that you are. You're shifting. Nobody else shifts. You shift. And that's why you may think that you're living in the same reality as people and you're experiencing the same things. Yes, you may have a collective experience. However, it is by your own beliefs, and I'm talking embedded beliefs as well, not just your everyday throwaway belief, like, I don't believe in that anymore. Boom, my whole life's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about needing to learn about your conditioning, do your shadow work, make the commitment to finding out what belief systems, and I'm not talking sociocultural and all this. I'm talking about what beliefs about self. What is your self-concept? What beliefs are in alignment with your highest self? And I will guarantee you that most of us out here are running on very toxic self-concepts. So the reason why they're talking about this right now is because right now you're going to be going through a lot of shifting, and it helps for you to embrace the idea that you can shift into a higher state of consciousness for yourself, thereby shifting into versions of people, places, things, situations, and ideas, aka the world, that are in alignment with who you are. Or you can stay stuck in the world that you have, that you're tuned into, and you can continue to believe in what other people are saying is reality and up and down and how you should interpret. You're such a sovereign being that, you know, if you're waiting for people to step in and rescue you from your own decisions and what to believe, it's not going to happen, because you also have free will. Now, you may not have free will in the same way that is commonly thought of, well, I don't want this to happen. Yeah, you may not want this to happen. I understand, because look, I don't want that. No one in their right mind would want that. But come see me, or sit down and journal, or see another person who can assist you with these kinds of things, even a friendly local therapist, and they'll look right at what you're talking about, and they'll say, oh, well, actually, you just contradicted yourself 5 times in this one story you told about your family dinner. So which version of you would you like to be? They'll even, stop us dead in our tracks and say something like, well, I noticed that when you were talking about this family member at the dinner, you were no longer this powerful, attorney that walked into my office for a session today. Now you're vibing like, a 6-year-old young woman who is not very sure, and you're like, oh, wow, really? So imagine, like we always say, what your energy readers and your shamans and your healers can see in your field. It's shifting, 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 shifting. That's all you're doing. And so when we make the decision that we want to experience true emotional fulfillment, that's called surrender. And that's about surrendering to whom? Not who you think. And rather, a better statement is not who you have been taught. Okay? Because, we got blind leading the blind out here. God bless, God bless. I'm blind too, depending on what level of the field we're looking at. But it's about yourself. It's about you. So many people can't even take a course online, or watch a new movie, or try a new dish or whatever, without first thinking they need to go online and look at the reviews, or they have to call their best friend up to do it with, or they have to ask their family. Like, why can't you just see something new? Do it for yourself first. Feel it, lean into it, make an assessment of it, if you even need to make an assessment of it, and draw your own conclusions before you even start reaching out to see what people think, and what's the tomato meter, and who's looking, and what's mainstream. All of that is such a waste of your time in so many ways. And these are those little habits that we have of always looking outside of ourselves for validation, for validation. Did I mention validation? Also to be led, right? It's all because we're searching for the same thing. And the good news is that we already have the thing that we're searching for. We just don't recognize it. And what that is dun, 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 self-concept, self-identity. And this is not about making stuff up. We will continue to make stuff up, or, devise an idea about who we are based on our upbringing, on our culture, on our gender, on our race, on our economic class, of whatever that is, upon, what kind of phone we carry, what brands we wear, what school we went to, all of this stuff. We'll continue to do that so long as we keep trying to find a home in what is sand and fog. Stop looking outside of yourself to identify with things that are not real. We all love a good sports team. It's not real. Okay? Yeah, we all love, this brand. It's not real. These are concepts that somebody with initiative and a desire to see everybody else in it and to possibly make money drew up in their minds and sold it to a boardroom somewhere. And now you can't even find, sometimes in some countries, you can't even find an original face anymore because people are trying to look like everybody else. People are trying to wear things. People are killing each other for the sneakers they have. People are ignoring people because of who they voted for. All sorts of stuff. These are man-made ideologies that are pushing people past the brink of who they are because you've forgotten who you are. When you start to remember who you are a sovereign, multidimensional creator being made in the image of your creator. That's it. You do not need to know who your creator is, what's the name. As the Tao Te Ching says, the Tao that can be expressed is not the real Tao. If we're sitting here talking about it and I'm giving you English words and labels, and this is called discourse. And it's already so far diluted from what the real thing is. When you're really in a state of I am, there are no words because you're just being. It's like the one point. You just are. I am. That's it. It's existence. That's period. When you start to apply conditions, I am, what are you? What's your quality? What's your characteristic? How much you make? This is when you're starting to get outside. In your mind only, outside of what you are. It's the false idea, right? We talk about this in the February 2024 session. I almost said meeting, a reading. There's so many, the energies, they're here, right? We talked about this in the February 2024 monthly reading, so go ahead and take a look where they talk about this. They talk about how those beliefs go all the way down into your physicality, your physical dimension, and manifest as physical forms, yes, including illness. It's all beliefs. That's it. And it all stems from the idea that you can be something other than what you are. So when you're out here over-identifying with things, you're now starting to program and be programmed. And it's to the point now that people can't even say something to a best friend about an opinion. They have to keep it inside, even though they could learn through having the discussion, or they can be completely right because it's right for them, right? They can't even say anything because they're going to get canceled, or someone's going to be upset, or someone's going to hurt them, or this is when we see people being programmed to not only believe a certain thing, but also programmed to hurt others so that they stay in alignment with what? The idea that they were programmed to believe. And we've seen this throughout history. And at the end of the day, listen, this is nobody's first lifetime. This isn't your first rodeo. And I'm willing to tell you, it's probably not going to be your last. A lot of people out here saying, this is my last time. Okay, see you next time. Yeah, you just spit on that parking attendant. See you next time, right? You have to understand it's up to you. It's your free will as a being, how long you would like to stay attached to things that are not real. You can enjoy them, but do not mistake them for reality, right? And what that looks like for you is going to be based on you. You can have certain beliefs. Yeah, we have to, and we're living in this world, and simply stated, we are living in our own worlds that we have constructed based on our individual and collective belief systems. As you start to change your beliefs, you will quite literally, and the guides are like, yes, quite literally shift out of the frequency that you're in now, and you will shift into a higher frequency. And remember, when we understand how energy works, anything that you see here in the physical has manifested from a non-physical state. On this planet, we have what we call time. So there's usually a time buffer between when the thought is set. And I'm not thinking like, oh, I think I'll have dinner tonight, or I think I'll have spaghetti. I'm talking about your belief systems. What's the belief system, and what thoughts are you popping out because of your belief system? That is what is making every now moment and now moment and now moment and now moment manifest for you. So simply stated, if you don't like the life that you're living and experiencing, I would invite you to start looking at your shadows. Do the shadow work so that you can start shifting the energies within. You will start to notice, as you start to heal your perceptions, as you start to integrate yourself, as you start to self-accept, you will start to notice a shift not only in your energy field, you'll start to notice a shift in your thoughts. The shift in the thoughts occurs first, but it may not be at the conscious mind level. Conscious mind is always the last to know, by the way. That's why we literally have things called aha moments, because you didn't just eureka have that. No, things were shifting in your field and your consciousness, and then boom, finally it hit your conscious mind, and now I have it, right? So always remember, non-physical first, then the physical. And so start to take care of your non-physical energy field. Watch the things that you're consuming, whether it's the energies of other people, whether it's the media, whether it's, certain locations that you're at, of course, food, recreational stuff, I'm just saying, but, your friendly local reader just out here sharing ideas, right? All sorts of things. If you know that something is toxic for you, do not go into that. You can. No one's judging you. Your guides aren't judging you. Your higher self is not judging you. They are in such a state of non-judgment. It is not something that we are capable of comprehending from this level of perception. Just trust that it's just not judgmental. It's just you are the sovereign being. You decide. How long would you like to have this experience? And when you're ready to no longer have this experience, you will start to shift your mind about it. And then your mind directs the energy around you in your energy field and your quote unquote world. And it literally is your navigational device, because it will navigate you from one timeline, one version of self, into another version of self that is hopefully in a higher at a higher frequency, and bringing you more or reflecting more of the alignment that you have with yourself. I'm going to share this. This is neither here nor there, but I was asking my guides the other day. I was like, guides, yeah, exactly like that, guides. So tell me about this, because, we're shifting, and I try to practice ideological flexibility, which the guides have said to do. Because remember, thoughts are things. So when you're so strong-headed about stuff, all you're doing is creating your own prison. Just letting you know. So that's what that is. When you're trying to think so hard about your plans for your next 10 years, all you're doing is ordering the energy to solidify right there around you. And if you don't dream big, what are we doing, right? Then you're just making a small room for yourself. But I asked him, I was like, guide, so then what exactly is God or creator and this and that? Because we have so many names. And I asked them, and knowing that I cannot fully understand, they have to lower their frequency and then meet my mindset, and then translate it into my limited language, and then catch me at a right mood, right? They have to lower and adjust to what I'm capable of receiving at that moment. And I understand that. And so therefore I am not seeking to be understood. I'm just seeking to receive an answer and allowing it to be at my conscious mind level, to park it, put in my back pocket, and then live on my life, and then see how that, what they have told me, comes to shift in time. Okay, that's how you work with spirit. And they said, God, quote unquote. Okay, I just felt all of our minds whoosh, fragment, because we all have different ideas about it because of conditioning and blah blah blah. So just reminding you, discourse is just not the way to go on these things. But they said God is let me stop trying. Let me get the words. I gotta get the actual words, because I was like, hold on. Dictionary. Literally have a dictionary for these things. I don't even know self. Okay, return love. Current word. They said. Oh my God! Stop! I just came back and looked this word. Stop! Stop! I kid you not. Unknown. The self. Wow! I was just going to read this to you. They said quite simply, the return to self. Damn. Okay, but here's what they said verbatim. Humanity, God or / creator or source, whatever you want to call it, is humanity's current word for a concept. Everything is a concept, right? Humanity's current word for a concept of what? Self. That they still have yet to recognize. Get it, God. That's what they're saying. I'll repeat that one more time. They said that God / creator is humanity's current word for a concept of self that they still have yet to recognize. You have to understand that if you keep looking for things outside of you to be your gods, you are in the wrong century. This is not the time for that anymore. The minds have evolved. The internet has made it possible for us to know more about this world, and also things that maybe we didn't need to know, but I'm just saying. And so you have to understand that we have evolved to a point where we are capable of looking behind the curtain. I promise you, the only thing that you will find behind any curtain is yourself. And you heard that verbatim, definition. And for me, where I am in my personal journey of ascension, evolution, whatever you want to call it, or just being who I am right now, that works for me. Because I'm at a place where I'm working on getting to know myself better. If everything in the world is practically manifestations of your inner world just pushed outward, then what are we doing wasting time outside so much? And see, that's the thing. There are people who know this. And if there are people who know this and you don't, and they don't really have your best interest at heart, it can be very easy to get you outside of where you really need to be in order to be operating optimally. The only place you need to be is inside of yourself. Now, let's talk about what that looks like in the physical. It pretty much just looks like starting to take note of yourself. Observe. Anything and everything starts with observation. Loving observation. Compassionate observation of self. Well, wow, I noticed I felt this way. I noticed I did that. I noticed I tend to be this about things. I notice I get bored and I just go to sleep. I notice I don't feel like anyone loves me. What do you notice about yourself? What stories are you making up about those things? I promise you, nothing has any meaning except what you give it. As I said, nothing has any meaning. I just looked down. It was 31 minutes, 31 seconds. There is no meaning to anything. What meaning could anything have beyond what you give it? And I know that we are, we are programmed, of course, by our higher selves when we come in. It's the soul contract stuff. Of course, check out the soul contract reading, by the way. And check that out. Oh, such a good modality. But we come in with certain things that we would like to experience and learn, yes, right? But I promise you, things don't have the meaning that you've attached. When you start to understand how things are constructed and how everything is really a concept and how you can change your ideas about stuff, you will be like, why isn't anyone bottling this and selling it, right? No, but here's the thing. Once you start to really tap into yourself, you will stop looking in inorganic places. A lot of these things we're trying to get technology to do and stuff, you don't even know how powerful you are. There are people who are experiencing so much power on this planet that they won't even, and they're comfortable in themselves. So they don't need to let anyone else know what they're doing because they know sometimes the world isn't ready. There's always going to be that one person trying to come in and make money off of it or trying to distill it or trying to control it or, the world just is not ready in general ways. And really, when it comes to spiritual evolution, it really is a self movement. It's just when you're ready. And in the grand scheme of things, what's the rush, right? So if you're hearing this message, or let's put it this way, if you're attracted to the channel that I do, thanks guys, this is this channel, God bless, then in this lifetime, you have an opportunity that you've given yourself. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a manifestation, 33 minutes, 33 seconds. We align because I'm a manifestation of your desire to know more about who you are. And look at the next card, transformation. Don't play, guys. Don't play with these these energies here. That's all this is. And whether you decide to take that opportunity for yourself in this lifetime is up to you, right? But it starts with getting more clear about who you are. And that includes disconnecting from all of this drama, the false things that just it has nothing to do with you. It makes no sense. And learning to differentiate those things. Learning to do better with the energies that you're consuming into your field. And, loving yourself through it. No more self-criticism. Now, I'm going to be real with you. It's going to take some time to really get out of the practice of criticizing yourself. And that's simply because, we do it. We're so programmed to do it that we don't even know sometimes when we're doing it. And so it's important to keep an eye out for those moments when you could use a little bit more love, a little bit more compassion, a little bit more patience, a little bit more mercy, a little bit more grace. These are things that you should be turning inward upon yourself, because as you do that, you're literally changing the energetic space within. Guess what else must change? And that's a hard M, must change. Your outside world, because the outside world does not change. You will be shifting yourself, the energetic vehicle. You will be navigating by way of the vibration that you make through your beliefs. You will be shifting to different frequencies. The question is, would you like to go to a higher frequency, or would you like to go even lower? Would you like to move laterally? And you may wonder, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that you are it's the differences in terms of how emotionally fulfilled you are. If you think you're happy now, you don't really know what happiness is, because you can't even see it because of all the programming. And when I say you, I mean me too. I'm out here too. And so, yeah, I think that the guides were talking, boom. The guides were talking for the past 2 months about integration. Very, very big energies of integration happening this year. And I would like to say that it looks like for the month of April, what they're asking you to start considering as well is the concept that you would like to have about yourself. What is the self-concept that you would like to construct? You already have a self-concept, so you may not recognize all that the self-concept that you're allowing to be your self-concept entails, but you can just ask your spirit team to assist you in showing you what it is. And then from there, you can then start to make, let's say, choices that align with, what is this card? Yeah, choices that align with what it is that you would like to be, which is love. Okay, so let's see, what do these cards say? Vision, you must dream the future into being. We're just talking about that. Big sky, you are boundless and you can accomplish anything. How do you know that? Because you are. That's it. You are. You are. That's source. I am. That's it. You exist. But for as long as you stay in this fake idea, I am, and listing all that fake toxic stuff that we've been conditioned to be, how can you step into your powers? How could you feel strong? How could you experience who you really are when you're so busy being what you're not? That's why when you live in this opposite state, I am, but when you're out of alignment, now you are in self-denial. I am not. This is self-doubt, and this will manifest in your life in ways that will give back to you a reflection of this state of being, right? So when we get into alignment, we get into alignment with our happiness, our benevolence, our purpose, our joy. We're just so stuck in conditioning that we don't know what that really is. Wind Talker, you receive and interpret messages from Spirit, Oracle, Holy One, Angel. You have a close connection with Spirit. All of this is you, right? So at a higher level too, as well. So here's what you at this level can start to do. Start asking yourself, hey, I think I like this. Hey, Mikey, right? I think I like this. So if this sounds like something you would like to experience with, wait for it, yourself, it's only you. If this is something you would like to experience with yourself, understanding that the more of yourself you let in, the more ecstatic joy you will experience. Do not fear that alignment, okay? You've been taught to fear alignment with self because you don't know what self is. So as we heard the guides say, God/the Creator is our, humanity's current word for a concept of self that we have yet to recognize. Simple things like if I said, I am God, God is me. I am God, God is me. Same thing. Boom. But so many people will struggle. They will receive I am God in a different way from God is me. You know, there's programming. What do you mean I'm God? I can't be God. There's only one God. But in the same vein, they will say, I am a spark of the divine. If you understand this universe, you understand we live in a fractal universe. The same way that your beloved shamans and healers are out here assisting you, and your beloved local therapists who are out here assisting you with embracing parts of yourself. Yes, some of these parts are your past lifetime aspects, which are energetic aspects of you hanging around, right? Some of them are splinters or fragments of you that have left your energy field altogether. Yes, your shamans are bringing those back. Some of these aspects are just hiding behind your consciousness. That yes, your healers and your lovely therapists are helping you to turn around and face these things. These are aspects of you. Guess what? They will integrate with you. We live in a fractal universe. You will integrate with your higher self when you start to turn inward. And guess where your higher self will start to integrate with the higher self of that. And guess what? Then it'll integrate eventually everything. Oneness. Okay, that's how that works. This is a fractal space. So as I said, that is 40 minutes, 40 seconds. So if you think it is arrogant to say stuff like, I am God, that's your programming. It's called religious programming. Go to countries that do not have religious programming and you will see how the society runs differently. Okay? It's arrogant to think that you can be anything other than God. Where did you go? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to separate. Because God, self, we're one big self, it's oneness. There's no other. But if you're out here with these beliefs that keep you in a belief of separation, you're going to see other, you're going to see duality. That's where the arrogance is, if you want to even hit that A word. So this is what we're talking about, shifting the mindset. Getting to understand. When you start to understand who you are and you extend the love to yourself, you break down the only barriers that separate you from anything. It's your own beliefs. And I'll pump it up a bit. 41 minutes, 41 seconds. There is no separation. So the only thing you're doing is healing your belief about it. This is what I'm saying. It's just healing the beliefs. You cannot separate. It's not possible. But as long as you carry a belief that you have separated and that is possible, you will continue to be basically self-denying and blocking off flow by your own desire, because you are a free will being and you say, this is my belief and so this is what I want. Boom. Right? So let's undo the programming so that you can see that's not what you want. You don't want this fake separation stuff because it's not real. So stop wasting your time. So when we see people killing each other at these soccer games, what are we doing? Right? This is the gross side. When we're defending institutions and all sorts of stuff, that it's the gross side of a false belief. So this is why we want to start to learn to heal, and that healing starts within. Healing your perceptions. That's what you can do. So right now, as we are in the month of April, looks like I have to change this video. Not change it, change this video. No, my throat is dry. We're not changing this video. No, make this video a second video from the other video, okay? So yeah, please go ahead if you haven't checked out the first video, now I can say this, which is the one where I'm on camera. We're talking a little bit about the month of April, and then you can watch this, or either one, but either order. But in the month of April, your next step, if this reading is for you, is to start looking at yourself and start asking from a higher intention. Oh, look at this. You gather, shine. Who are you gathering? You. Collect yourself. This is integration. Start asking yourself, what self? Your higher self. It is the self of you, the version of you, because there's a version of you in every dimension, right? You're like a cute little nesting doll. But right now, the conscious mind 3D part and in all the cute little aspects that are not, that are hanging around you, that are yourself, you're listening to the reading. But the higher self of you from another dimension can see all. The same way somebody from, in one point perspective, there just is. There's no observation, there's no nothing. 2 points, now we can start to see other. 3 points, bing! Now we can be at the third dimension and observe the other two, right? And, and then fourth and fifth and fifth. The higher the dimension, the more, of all of the dimensions below you can see. So your higher self literally is your go-to. And if you really reconnected with your higher self for real's real and allowed it in a really unprecedented, visceral way, you will experience that self as what? You know the answer. I'll give you a hint. It's got 3 letters. Starts with a G. Anagram is dog, right? So if we jumble it around, God. This is exactly what the guides were saying. God/creator is humanity's current word for a concept of self it has yet to recognize. The only reason you don't recognize it is because your programming does not allow it. And so we're going to leave you with that energy right here. Thank you so much, guides. And thank you so much to your higher selves as well, and all of us here on the call. Oh my God, I almost said, does anyone have any questions? Wait, let me see. Sometimes if I ask that silently, a question will come up. Any questions? Okay, one of you energetically asked a question. Is it safe to learn about these things, or can I learn about these things? And the idea was like maybe the fear is like, oh, but we're going to be monitored and this and that. And the answer was something like, you'll just have to do your best. Do your best. Do your best to pursue your own knowledge. In actuality, you're pursuing knowledge of yourself. And the beautiful thing is it's liberating. I'm not telling you have to join any hermetically sealed groups. You don't have to join a denomination. You can do all these things, by the way. You do what you want, because if energy is meant to come to you and information will come to you, it'll come to you on the side of a bus. But I'm trying to tell you, you do not need any of these things to experience who you are. And the first step towards healing and growth, especially in this age we're in right now, is internal. That is the only place there is. So stop getting distracted outside of you. Have fun. Get the work done. Understand the difference. Your friendly local therapist doesn't go into a session with a client who is having hallucinations and then get lost in the hallucinations with the client. No. But the therapist has to be in the same room with the clients, her clients or his clients who have these afflictions at this time. So they have to maintain an awareness. The guides, they just said an ascendance. Interesting. They have to, maintain an awareness of who they are. I am the therapist. I have the tools to work with this person and to help them to find a way to navigate their reality. And with that awareness, but the therapist holds on to his or her own reality. And with that awareness, they work with their clients. So that is the same thing I would suggest that you do in this world. You're in this world, but you start to understand who you are and who you walk with. Now, when I say who you walk with, a lot of you have religious programming, and hopefully your programming will help you to feel stronger and more protected. But please understand, even that is programming. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I will say that and to keep going. If you'd like to work more personally with me, you know exactly where to go. Of course, you can reach me if you're like, hey, I just want to find out about my employees. I have this company and I want to find out about the dynamics, or you have relationship stuff. We can talk about those things as well. But I do know that a lot of you do come to me to talk about deeper stuff as well that are in alignment with personal evolution and ascension. And also for those of you who are engaging in mission work or feel like you have a calling and you're actually feeling it, you're like, I can't stop feeling this. You can come to me as well. We do work with that as well. So we got you. All right, gonna let you go. God bless you guys. Make sure that you check out the other reading and the clearing that we do there. Make sure if you are interested in soul contract readings, those are amazing. I invite you to head over to Let's Talk Vibes podcast with Lauren and Yiannah, two beautiful Aries ladies. Two lovely ladies, and see what they have to do. And get on that train, because they literally are on their 4th episode and they just started. So if you're like, what is this? Episode 1 is, this is what this is. Here's how you do it. Let's pull up your chart. Let's do this together. Episode 2, let's look through this. 3. So this is the time to jump on that and learn. And if you're interested in actually becoming a soul contract reader, I highly advise it. And so it's pretty fun. You can also find out information there as well. Okay? God bless you. And in other words, you bless you. And our creator, source, everybody, all that is, bless you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.